9. Time to dig into some gaming action with Gerard Campbell at stuff.co.nz. Game Junkie NZ on Twitter as well. Morning, Gerard.
Morning. How are you?
Good. Today we're rewinding the clock. It's a rewind into digging back through the vaults of gaming history into the retro games, specifically point and click. What is a point and click game?
Well, point and click essentially is that you use your mouse and you point at something and you click, and then your character will move to that, or they'll pick up that item, or they can, get one item and then drag it onto another item. So I mean, these are the heydays of the classic adventure game. You know, things like Full Throttle and Grim Fandango and Day of the Tentacle and those sorts of things. You know, the good old heady days of classic point and click adventures, which have are not around at the moment.
And so essentially the background or the setting that the game was set in, it was static. Like the background didn't move, nothing moved except for the character.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I mean, or you might have, the odd thing in the background that would shift. Like, you might have a TV screen that would, shimmer as a picture, as a signal was lost, or there might be smoke or something in the background. But yeah, I mean, these are the days where, and I guess I'm really talking about this because, I mean, the last week I've spent most of my time playing this bad boy, Full Throttle, which came from Tim Schafer, who we all know was the chap behind things like Brutal Legend, Psychonauts, Grim Fandango, and recently the Kickstarter fundraising program to get some funds, crowdsourced funds for his new game.
Much like our own Taika Waititi.
Yeah, exactly. But these are games where you're talking about mid-90s, 94, 95 probably, so they weren't, the big old days of super-powered computers with graphics cards that can power your car and those sorts of things, and they relied on story a lot. The story was what
got it through.
Held together, yeah.
Like the Monkey Island adventures, they're some pretty well-known.
Exactly right.
Click. One of my favourites, I think we've talked about it on the show before, was Indiana Jones, but also Blade Runner as well.
Blade Runner, exactly, those sorts of things, those classical days. And surprisingly for me, they're quite hard. Like, these classic ones are hard to get hold of these days, which is a shame. There's not a lot of places don't have it, but I was lucky enough to find a copy of Full Throttle for the extremely good price of $5 on Mighty Ape had a marketplace. Yeah, and it works well on my Windows 7 PC. And
bet it does.
The sounds great. I mean, if you're looking for photorealistic graphics and high textures and bump mapping this and cell shaded that, well, you're not going to get it. No, you're not going to get that. But you're getting, you're actually getting clever puzzles where you have to actually use your brain a wee bit to actually think, I need to get some petrol from this vehicle here, so I better go and find some items that I can get that petrol from. And then you've got to do things like, you have to unscrew a petrol cap, and then you'll have to get out the hose that you've got, put that into the petrol cap, then you get out the fuel can you've got, and then being our lovely motorcyclist in Full Throttle, you have to put his lips onto the hose, and then he sucks the fuel out. So, right. There are some we sort of brain scratches. Yeah. And I think that, it'd be nice to see these sorts of things coming back, because they are, they're a great thing. They're a nice diversion from your standard, third-person actioners or shooters or whatever.
As you say, it runs really well on your Windows 7 PC because, compared to what it used to run on, it's like running on futuristic technology essentially for that game. But why not? I mean, with touch screens now, we could have these games on tablets, on phones, couldn't we?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the Monkey Island series did make an appearance on iPad and iPod Touch and stuff, I think. So, they're perfectly suited to the touchpad,
Yeah.
The only thing that I've noticed that with a game like Grim Fandango, that is to the detriment of the modern PC, is because your CPU is going a lot faster than those days when it was made.
Yes.
Often some of the puzzles are sped up. They're sped up quite a bit, so there are all sorts of little tricks that you can do to sort of slow things down. But, I think to anyone, if you want a nice, of course you can't get hold of, but, some of these classic old Monkey Island series.
Where did you can play that on the Xbox, but where did you get Full Throttle? Because that looks like a new cover.
Well, this is the classic one which came out in 1990. This is the edition that came out in 1995. check websites, check places like maybe eBay, Trade Me. Somebody's going to have a copy somewhere, and they're just good stories. The story's good. They've got great voice acting, and there's something to be said for a game like that can still hold its own, what are we talking about? 94, 2004, almost 20 years after it was made.
Yeah. Stood the test of time. That's great.
Stood the test of time, like both of us.
Yeah, you reckon?
And quickly, of course, this week is Mass Effect 3 week.
It is. It is. The embargo for anyone reviewing it lifts tomorrow, maybe this afternoon.
I think it's tonight, 7 p.m. Sydney time.
So hoping to get some hands on. I actually just turned on the original Mass Effect yesterday, but I just got as far as turning it on and seeing the intro screen, and then
nice.
I had to get out of there. But
you're all set. You're all set for it.
Yeah, basically,
you've got all the backstory. You're good to go.
Gerard is over at stuff.co.nz in the entertainment section, the Game Junkie blog there. Also, Game Junkie NZ on Twitter. See you next time.
Indeed, see you next time.
Time now here on Kiwi is 18 minutes past 9.